Hey y'all, so I wanted to come on real quick, do a quick little video, whatever, about this topic. You probably know what it's about by now, because you read it. But, oh, my baby's in the background sleeping. If you hear or see something, it's all good. Let's get into it, okay? I really wanted to talk about Kanye motherfucking West, bitch. I honestly didn't know that people was talking about it like how they're talking about it. Like, I didn't know that people was like defending him. The video is about the White Lives Matter thing. And it's like, I'm just goofy, first of all, but I'm just laughing just because it's just like, I just don't even know. All right, so a couple things that need to be said first. Number one, I don't take sides, like, not like that. Like, I don't be on one side, I don't be on the other. All right, this is like a complete, like, unbiased review, I guess, or opinion about this situation. So don't put me in no category, don't put me in no box, because that's the first thing people be looking to do. It's like, okay, I'm waiting to see like what her angle is. I want to know, like, is she for it or if she ain't? And it's like, to me, it's not even about that. Something that like kind of inspired me to talk about this was I had a conversation and someone asked me, what did I think about it? Like, I just want to know what you think. Just because, I don't know, I just feel like I'm just a free thinker. I have my own way of thinking. I don't think like the average person. When I seen the White Lives Matter thing, when I see him wearing it next to, I think, Candace Owens, I laughed. Like, that was my first reaction. I just see humor in it for some reason. I think the reason why he even doing that, and I think the reason why he's even done all this as far as, I guess, supporting the Republican Party, you know, having the sit downs with Trump and doing those things so it's like he's more like on the right side, on the Republican side and things like that. I honestly think that he does those things. The word that I've coined for it is conscious chaos. Now, some of y'all that might see this video, no offense, it might be up here for you. It might go like this, and that's okay, but that's okay though. Conscious K, I feel like he is intentionally causing conversation surrounding this topic. I think he's causing attention to it, and I think he's trying to generate conversations surrounding the topic just in general, right? So I feel like that's his purpose of why he does it. Now, this is a thing, like, of course, we don't know these celebrities personally, right? Like, we don't know these people for real. So we don't know what the fuck be going on. So we just, first of all, have to keep that in mind, number one. But number two, listening to Kanye, to his lyrics, to his interviews, you know, of course, people think that he's crazy, he's a psychopath or whatever. But you can tell that he really understands the Matrix, right? And if you don't know what the Matrix is basically, to describe it, it's basically just us living in this world, but the world is being controlled by elitists or government, Illuminati, deep state, whatever words you want to put on it. The world is being controlled. And so what we think things are really aren't. And that's kind of like what the Matrix is, pretty much like the movie. The Matrix is just kind of like this reality the people in power wanted to create. And it's really corrupt, low-key. He talks about it, and he talks about it in a way where I feel like most people who have heightened awareness talk about it.
To just step back from what you think culture is today. It's not about any candidate. It's not about red or blue. It's about humanity.
We are following other people's opinions. We are controlled by the media, grounded in reality. This reality has been forced upon us. It is a choice. The reality, we can make our own reality because we can fix and start loving each other now.
But the thing is, we have the resources on this planet to have a human utopia.
I've heard of history class. I've never heard of a class that breaks down how you balance a checkbook or how you control your finances, which my father never taught me that. And I've never heard of a future class. So they keep us so focused on history that we start to believe that it actually repeats itself and we become overly traditional, and we can't advance as a race of beings. We get too caught up in the past and what everyone's saying and what everyone's tweeting, and sometimes you just have to be fearless enough to break the simulation.
I refuse to follow those rules that society has set up and the way that they control people.
He was like talking as if like he understands that politics is all corrupt. It's not beneficial for the people. He talks about it as if he understands that the people in power don't truly have the people's best interest in mind, and they do things to make the world a fucked up place and to make people's lives fucked up, believe it or not. He talks about it like that, right? And I know he brought up the whole, I think he said that the Black Lives Matter thing was a scam. I think that the intention of Black Lives Matter, it was created with great intentions. But I think when it was initially created, it was created to, just bring awareness to the injustice when it came to Black folk. But I think, and I'm pretty sure there's footage, I'm gonna insert it, but it was pretty much hijacked. It was hijacked and it was turned into politics. It was used for political gain.
So I recently did some research and I found out that if you go to Black Lives Matter and you see that little sign right here that says donate, if you go to Black Lives Matter and try to donate a certain amount of money to the cause and help eradicate white supremacy and help get rid of racism, did you know that a lot of that money goes to an organization called Act Blue? Literally, once you click donate, you can check for yourself if you don't believe me. Once you click on donate, the Act Blue sign pops up in the tab, right? Y'all see this? It pops up in the tab. As it pops up in the tab, Act Blue, their little logo, it immediately takes you to a site where it tells you to donate, how much you want to donate. It could help. They tell you, oh, you could help the cause, you could help this, you could help that. Tell me why. I did my research and I tried to find out where that money went. A good chunk of that money actually goes to Democratic campaigns. Like, did you know Bernie Sanders made $100 million off of Black Lives Matter donations? Because Act Blue, because let's be very clear, Black Lives Matter tried to debunk this. They tried to, quote unquote, debunk this. Black Lives Matter doesn't directly give the funds to Democrats. It's Act Blue. The money goes to Act Blue, and Act Blue choose to give the money to Democrats. That's what they do. Isn't it interesting how all these politicians are white politicians who are Democrats? Isn't that very interesting?
It was used in order to pander to a community of people. And so it just turned into a corrupt thing. Like, if you notice, anything that is started with good intention, with either inclusion or either bringing awareness to injustice, or if it's to bring awareness to inequality or anything of that in that realm, any organization that's created with that, like, the government will quickly like hijack it and take it and use it for votes, basically. And I think that's something that had happened with Black Lives Matter. Of course, we know at the core, the statement itself is just like, it's true. It rings true. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this statement. It's really like turned into like this corrupt thing because its original intent is not being upheld anymore, right? So I think that's why he said that. When Kanye first popped out with his White Lives Matter shirt standing next to Candace Owens, I was just like, my instant thought is, what is he doing? Like, what is the purpose? Because a lot of people, of course, look at it at the surface level and of course make the conclusion and the assumption he a sellout, he a coon, or whatever, which is, I mean, it's a fair assumption. Like, it's like, I would think that most people would think that, most Black people would assume that that's what that is. But me, because I've heard Kanye say things when it comes to politics, when it comes to race, and when it comes to the Black community, I was just like, it's more than what is being shown. Like, but what is it? Like, I didn't know, and I still don't know, but I've just assumed some things just based off of things that I've heard him say, things that he has done, and just what I know personally with heightened awareness about like what the fuck be going on in the world and what be going on behind the scenes. Maybe he is trying to get people to wake up. And people might be upset because they feel like I'm defending him and stuff like that. But that's why I said, like, it's like I'm just unbiased. I'm in the middle. Like I'm not even on the spectrum. I ain't even in the middle bit. I'm just out here with it. I'm in outer space. Everybody else is on Earth. Like, y'all gotta understand, like, these celebrities know what be going on. Like that's a whole nother topic. But y'all know these celebrities, like, they are in the midst of these people who have this type of power and who literally are controlling the world and who control the media. So all that behind the scenes evil shit that be going on, I really genuinely believe that all of these celebrities are aware of that shit, but they done sold their damn soul, so they can't speak on it. They probably wouldn't want to anyway for fear of their life. I don't blame they ass. That's just first and foremost. I really believe that they know what the fuck be going on. It's just like, it's no way y'all are in us commoners know what the fuck going on. You know what I'm saying? And more people are finding out every day, and more of it is coming to light. So it's like, if we know and we hear with it, they know what's going on, you know, to some extent. Like, it's just no way that they don't, and we do. So I say that to say, like, I don't think that anything that he does when it comes to this should just be looked at on like the surface level. And so I didn't look at it as just that. I'm just like, I highly doubt that he's throwing up the bird to like if he's really like saying F you to his, like, to the Black community, like to his own people, the Black people, because I'm not so caught up in like this race war that has been created. I feel like I do feel like I have a better understanding of things of this nature. I feel like, because I'm not basing it off of like emotion, if that makes sense, because I have my own beliefs and opinions. I think that he is somehow using that as a way to try to reach people. I think he's trying to reach people in the Black community, to be honest with you. In my opinion, I feel like it's not the best approach. The reason I feel like it's not the best approach, because I'm a soul believer and you got to meet people where they're at. You want to communicate things with the Black community. I think one of the worst ways to do that is to put on a White Lives Matter shirt and walk out with like Trump supporters. You know what I'm saying? I think the worst way to do that is probably to sit down with Trump himself. That's not the best way to accomplish the goal. Because it's like you've lost your credibility with these people. And I think that Kanye is very smart. I think he's a very smart man. And I think that he does have a plan, and he is doing things with intention, and he's trying to get people to understand life better and understand the world better. And I say that because the type of mentality he has, which I know he said about the slave thing. What did he say about the slave? Oh, we chose to be slaves or whatever. To me, these two things correlate, not in the way that average people would think, like, okay, he's just a coon, he's racist against his own people, it's self-hate. I think these correlate in a different way. I think these correlate because he's trying to say, y'all give too much power to white people. Y'all give too much power to them, like. And it's not to ignore the injustices, because they're very much so real, okay? So, and it's not to say that Black people chose to be slaves. Like, I'm not agreeing with that, you know what I'm saying? I think that's very disrespectful to say, considering, you know, the situation. But at the same time, even though I wouldn't say it and I don't agree with saying it, I understand why he said it. I think his approaches are horrible. And I think he says things that he does mean, but he don't say it and convey it in the best way. And that's why I think that this approach with the White Lives Matter thing is horrible. I do. Because, again, like, you lost your credibility when you said that we chose to be slaves. Black people chose to be slaves. You lost your credibility then. You losing it now. So if your purpose is to kind of create a bridge for your Black community to cross over into this new enlightenment for the Black community, then why aren't you meeting them where they're at? because now they don't want to look at you as a leader. Now they won't look at you as a leader. They'll look at you as like a sellout. So how productive are you really being? On the flip side, it also allowed and like a door to open for these types of conversations, like the conversation that I'm having right now, which is explaining a new way of thinking, explaining a new perspective. And it's like, I'm hoping to get people out of the mentality of like, I'm not fucking with it because I'm a black person and I'm not supposed to. Listen, I'm not saying to fuck with it. I'm not saying that he's right. It's not really even about condemning him. It's about analyzing what's going on and looking at the world and seeing why he did that, why he says the things he said. What is he talking about? Not in a way to condemn him, not in a way to uphold him, or in a way to support him in the things that he has done and the things that he has said, but it's just about looking at it in a new perspective to gain a new understanding, and not even a new understanding of him. It's not about him. It's about what's behind it, right? Because when you see things start to happen, especially these celebrities, or when you see like countries like start to do certain things, like it's always good to question why, because these people have access to information that we probably don't have access to. So it allows us to peer into a window to be able to see something else that we've never seen before about what's really going on. So I think that Kanye is trying to tell people, I think that Kanye is really trying to communicate with the black community, which seems very weird and very off considering the things that he does. But that's just because of where the black community is at when it comes to our mentality, to be very honest with you. The black community still think like slaves. The black community still have a slave mentality. How, you may ask? Well, for example, we still like ask the white people in the government to like free us. Like, bitch, I'm finna free my damn self. Like, I don't need reparations. Now I take that. Now I take it now. Now don't get me wrong, I'll take it if they gonna give it, but I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not finna sit and beg for it. I'm not finna sit and ask for it. I'm also not finna cast a vote for either party when both parties have enslaved black people. Why would I vote for a government that has enslaved black people? Like, I want no parts. I want no parts. Like, and so this video can turn into a lot of things, to be honest. Like, I'm really trying to fight my like urge to just go everywhere with it. It's really, really hard for me, and I think I'm getting better at it, but shit. But that's just a bit, that's gonna be a whole nother video, but that's just a bit of honestly how the black community thinks. And black people don't like to hear that. They don't. I didn't like to hear it because I used to think the same way. I used to get my ass on social media, and I used to be a part of this race war, and I used to get on that shit and argue and get on that shit and post and post and post and post. And now when I think about that, all I think about is the elites, the governments, the evil people, the fucking reptilians, whatever, sitting back and laughing at the shit because that's what they want. That's what they created it for. That's why they created these wars. That's why they created this chaos. That's why they created this hate. And that's why they fed it to us. And that's why they taught these people to do these things, right? So that when the time comes and that brainwashing needs to go into effect, all they got to do is snap their fingers. All they got to do is make this post. All they got to do is make that post. And then next thing you know, we're going at it just like how they knew we would because they brainwashed us to do so. I used to play into it too. I used to be that same pawn, and I used to not like to hear it. And myself 2-3 years ago would look at me crazy, probably now, with the new mentality that I have. The new mentality that I have is that society, the government, the world oppresses and suppresses black people. But at the end of the day, I'm not oppressed and suppressed because I can create whatever reality that I want for myself. That's the difference between a slave mentality and a non-slave mentality. A slave mentality is they believe they can be free, but they feel like the white person has to free them. And then the non-slave mentality is I can be free, but most importantly, I can free myself. Like, I don't need nobody else to do that for me. But again, like, I'm like, okay, well, maybe that was his purpose, for people to make this video to try to get people to see a different side of it. But that's why I don't agree with it, because you got to meet people where they at. Like, people ain't there yet. The Black community ain't there yet. A lot of people don't want to hear that. When they see you wearing that shirt, you already know what they're going to think. That's what they're going to think, because honestly, that's what they've been taught to think. And that's how they really feel in the moment, because they don't know how else to feel. I feel like the best way is to sit down and have clear communication, basically like how I'm doing. The thing is like, it's him wearing a White Lives Matter shirt isn't really important. Like, who gives a fuck what he does? Fuck him. Like, who cares? Like, who cares what who cares what he does? Like, who cares that he's doing that? Like, fuck that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not even about that shit, to be very real with you. It's about the shit that I'm talking about right now. And it's about really looking at things like how it need to be looked at. It's just like Malcolm X said.
All right, so y'all would not believe this ghetto shit. Like, my phone don't even have no more storage in it. Another reason why I think that, why he, I guess maybe is like fucking with the Republican Party or whatever, is because y'all know, like, it has been said that, well, y'all probably, some of y'all might not know, but the Democratic Party is known as the deep state, or they're known as basically the evil elitists who are the ones doing the evil shit when it comes to, you know, the evil shit with the minors and the traffic in the SEX, like that type of stuff, and the adrenochrome and all that crazy Pizzagate and all that shit. And then y'all know he on his you know, on his God stuff and everything. So I'm just like, okay, so maybe that's why he's just kind of like over there with them, because he feel like they closer to God. He feel like the evil shit is coming from the Democratic Party. But in my opinion, it's both. Y'all know how it goes. Right wing, left wing, same bird. Like, I think it's all the same. I think politics is all bullshit. I think it's all a game. I think it's all orchestrated. It's just a part of the matrix. The thing is that Kanye has said those things, you know, to some extent in his interviews. So my thing is like, okay, that's the thing I don't get when it comes to him. Because I'm just like, okay, you know this and you understand that because you've said it. But it's one thing to not fuck with one side. Okay, if you ain't gonna fuck with one side, okay, whatever. But why go to the other side? Like, if you know and understand that this is all the doing of the matrix, and that it's all bullshit, and that it's all corrupt, then why would you play upon either? Now you playing into the matrix. You playing into the games of the matrix. Like, the very thing that you was talking against. Like, you're playing into the games of the matrix now, because you have that awareness and you do know that they've created these things for us to play into it. Like, they've created this world and they've created this reality in a certain way, but you still playing into both. You still playing into one side. It's one thing to be like, okay, like, you know, I'm not fucking with that, but now you still involving yourself in the sheep shit. Like, that's still sheep shit. Like, you feel like one side is sheepish, but that's all the sides are, because once you get to that point where you really like know what the fuck, not even know what the fuck going on, but just aware and enlightened, you don't want to. Me personally, I don't want to play on either. I don't want to play on either side when it comes to politics, because I'm fully aware and I understand that it's just a bunch of bullshit. And none of it is ever meant for the betterment of anyone. Okay? I guess I'll just go ahead and wrap it up. But ultimately, how I feel about the whole Kanye thing, it's not smart. I think that, like, I don't think that he should be doing that if his purpose is really to get people to understand a new perspective. I think that it's not productive, and I think that there is definitely a better way to communicate what I think that he's trying to communicate. But I'm also not mad about it, because I think it's great that it opens doors for these types of conversations and helps people to see things and hear different perspectives and maybe even change or open their minds up. All right, thank y'all for listening. If y'all made it to the end, y'all a real one. I love y'all. I fuck with y'all. And deuces. I'll see y'all next time.